our tensioner is shot. I don't know if you get, yeah, I can't really get any movement out of it, but see how loose this timing belt is? I cannot believe that it did not jump timing.
My own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Friday night and we're finally working on the GTI. Brandy ordered the parts for it a couple days ago and they got here a couple days ago, and we've been itching to get started, but we've just been so busy and it's been hot out. We're already sweating and it's like, well, it's getting cooler, but it's still hot out here. We were in a rush to get started, so I actually totally forgot we wanted to do a video on this. We already took a couple things apart here. I mean, if you don't know how to remove some of this stuff, you probably shouldn't be taking on this job, but the power steering pump reservoir, power steering reservoir, the coolant bubble, your fuel lines and coolant lines go in here. The upper timing cover is removed. We just jacked up the car and took off the wheel, so we're gonna have to access the crank down here, so that splash guard's gonna have to come off. That other thing in front of the splash guards for the intercooler, I don't know if we're gonna have to take that off. I'll probably leave it on if we can work around it. If not, that will have to come off too. And then this motor mount's gonna have to come out of there. And get some light so you guys can see. So we'll remove this motor mount and we'll remove it where it attaches to the motor. Then we can take the lower timing cover off. As you can see, our tensioner is shot. I don't know if you get, yeah, I can't really get any movement out of it, but see how loose this timing belt is? I cannot believe that it did not jump timing. So we got really lucky here, but I don't know.
Cheap beater.
Cheap beater. Yeah, cheap beater. Also, once we get the timing belt done, we have a lot of hoses to replace. This one's completely missing. I was gonna try and like fix it for tonight, and every time I touched it, more of it broke off, and now it's broke all the way down there. That's the crankcase PCV hose from, and attaches on top of the oil filter housing way under there, under the intake. So we'll probably have to pull the intake to replace that. But pretty much all these hoses are shot. Secondary air hose just fucking snapped off. Typical 20-year-old car, 200,000 miles. Not anything we weren't expecting, but just if you guys are working on one of these, be ready for that stuff to break if you haven't replaced it yet. With the fender liner out of the way, we're just gonna pop this intercooler pipe off. You got a hose clamp here. Brandy already loosened that one up. You got another one back here, and then you have a bolt back there right here as well, and then the hose clamps right behind it. You can feel it.
That ain't happening.
What?
This doesn't fit.
You don't have to loosen that one.
Oh.
You loosen the front one. Oh. What's up, guys? It's like 10 o'clock. We've been working at this thing for a couple hours now. Mostly struggling to get the motor mount out of the way. I'll show you guys here. So the motor mount that bolts in right there, it's just wedged in between the motor and the frame when you go to take it out. So what we did was we had to disconnect some stuff so we could lift the motor high enough to actually get that out. And then even when you got it high enough, this AC line here is really tight against it, so you might need to maneuver that a little bit or remove it. The AC doesn't work on this, so I wasn't too shy to just kind of bend it out of the way, but nonetheless it was still very tight. Now we can see here our timing marks. You can see the little yellow paint on the cam and that little notch on the valve cover. That is our upper timing mark for the camshaft. And then if we look down here, you should see the little yellow paint on the harmonic balancer. And right above it, it's kind of hard to see, there's a little yellow mark on the timing cover. Those are not factory, so it looks like somebody did the timing before. But yeah, that little yellow dot on the timing cover, it almost looks like a reflection. If you stick your fingernail down there, you can actually feel the little notch in the timing cover. But that confirms that the timing did not jump, so we should not have any valve train damage, which is what I was expecting. But as loose as the belt was, I just wanted to crank it over to top dead center and double check, and also that'll give us a good point to start at when we put the new belt on. I think tonight we're gonna call it quits. We made good progress. Brandy wants to drive it tonight, but obviously that's not gonna happen. Maybe if we didn't spend an hour trying to get that stupid motor mount out. But we'll come back, finish this up either tomorrow. We got some stuff to do tomorrow, so maybe tomorrow evening or Sunday we will get into the tensioner and the belt. Basically all we have to do to get the belt off yet is remove the lower timing cover, remove that crank or harmonic balancer, crank pulley, whatever, same thing, and then detension the belt, slip the belt off. Be very careful not to move the cam or the crank. We might actually mark them once we have the belt off, because putting the new belt on, sometimes the crank and the cam like to move a little bit. So any thoughts, Brandy? We'll get it done. I still got to put it on insurance before we can drive it.
I'm hot and I'm sweaty.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm dirty and itchy.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed so far, and stay tuned for the rest of this video on how to do a timing belt on a 1.8T.